less than 48 hours, the balance of power in the Persian Gulf changed dramatically. Missiles lit up the night sky. Warships were struck at sea, and one of the most powerful naval forces on Earth moved into action. But how did the U.S. Navy gain control of the Gulf so quickly? The Persian Gulf is one of the most important waterways in the world. Every day millions of barrels of oil pass through a narrow passage called the Strait of Hormuz. This small stretch of water connects the Persian Gulf to the global ocean. Because of this, whoever controls the Strait of Hormuz can influence global energy supply. For decades, Iran has built its naval strategy around this region. Fast attack boats, coastal missile batteries, naval drones, all designed to challenge enemy fleets and threaten shipping routes. So when tensions between the United States and Iran escalated in 2026, the Persian Gulf quickly became the center of a dangerous naval confrontation. As the crisis grew, the United States rapidly deployed powerful naval forces into the region. Carrier strike groups entered the Persian Gulf. Destroyers and cruisers positioned themselves along key shipping lanes, and submarines moved silently beneath the water. At the same time, Iran began preparing its own naval forces. Missile boats were placed on high alert. Naval bases along the coastline were activated, and drone units prepared for possible attacks. For a brief moment, both sides watched each other carefully, but that moment did not last long. Soon, the first wave of strikes began. American warships and submarines launched long-range cruise missiles toward Iranian coastal targets. Radar systems were destroyed. Missile batteries were hit. Naval command centers were knocked offline. At the same time, aircraft from U.S. carrier groups began attacking Iranian naval bases along the Persian Gulf coastline. The objective was simple: destroy Iran's ability to operate at sea before it could threaten American ships. But the most dramatic moment of the battle was still ahead. One of Iran's most important naval assets was a large vessel designed to support drone operations and naval missions across the Gulf. Early in the conflict, this ship became a major target. U.S. forces launched a coordinated strike against it. Moments later, explosions tore across the deck. Fire spread quickly through the vessel. Within minutes, one of Iran's most advanced naval platforms had been taken out of the fight. For Iran's navy, the loss was a serious blow. But the conflict was far from over. Iran responded with retaliation. Missiles and drones were launched toward American bases and Allied positions across the region. Air defense systems worked to intercept the incoming attacks. Some threats were stopped. Others reached their targets. The situation in the region became increasingly tense. However, Iran's naval forces were already under heavy pressure. Several ships had been damaged or destroyed. Others were forced to remain in port to avoid further strikes. Within just 48 hours, the balance of power in the Persian Gulf had shifted dramatically. The United States Navy had achieved a critical objective. Iran's ability to challenge American naval dominance had been severely weakened. Key vessels were gone. Naval bases were damaged, and the waters of the Persian Gulf were now dominated by U.S. naval forces. The conflict between the United States and Iran is still unfolding. But the first 48 hours of fighting revealed something important. In modern warfare, control of the sea can change extremely quickly. And in this case, the U.S. Navy demonstrated why it remains the most powerful naval force in the world. But the real question is this: if the conflict continues, could Iran still find a way to challenge that dominance?